we have a public service announcement. Do not underestimate the political left's capacity for duplicity in this election. And do not underestimate the willingness of millions of voters to cut off their nose to spite their face, and particularly Donald J. Trump, in the process of destroying the United States of America as we know it. Now, 1 week ago today, Donald J. Trump left Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the Republican nominee, after a successful 4-day convention dedicated to defining Joseph Robinette Biden as a weak, elderly man with poor memory whose presidency has imperiled the world. Well, 7 days later, Joe Biden is out of the race. The DNC has selected Kamala Harris as their presumptive nominee without a single vote cast in her name. And the media has asked America to believe Joe Biden is unfit to seek re-election, but completely suitable to continue sleeping at the White House. In a sane world, this election would be over. The arrogance and contempt of the political left towards their voters serving as that final straw to break the back on the hopes of their 2024 election. But these are not normal times. This is not your mom or dad's Democratic Party, and the media that we depend on for the truth is less like Walter Cronkite and more like George Orwell, 1984. You see, the media, they have long exhibited left-leaning bias, but in the last 7 days, we have witnessed in real time the media and the DNC work in tandem, not just to create the legend of Kamala Harris, but quite literally rewrite history before our very eyes. First came the nationwide coordinated rollout of the Kamala Harris was never the borders are a lie, a statement so crazy it feels ripped from an alternative timeline. Until you realize they are actually creating that alternative timeline before our very eyes. Wikipedia deleting Kamala Harris as the borders are. Axios deleting the article referring to Kamala Harris as the borders are. And then organization after organization, all of whom covered her, being designated as the borders are, diligently trotting out their lead 7-figure anchors to pretend all of it, none of it, ever happened. GovTrack.us, it is a non-profit organization, allegedly nonpartisan. They have tracked and rated politicians based on their voting record since the year 2005. Well, they went and deleted their 2019 report on then Senator Kamala Harris, where they called her the most liberal member of the Senate. Did it in the middle of the night. It was just gone. No explanation, no justification. It simply did not fit into the legend of Kamala Harris they are attempting to create out of thin air. So they deleted it. Clear and simple. Yesterday, these same news organizations and the fact checkers that go along with them, they labeled President Trump as a liar for asserting that Kamala Harris supported the Minnesota Freedom Fund. For those catching up, that's an organization that raised money for individuals jailed during the burning and looting and destruction of cities all across this country in the aftermath of George Floyd's death. But you see, the key here, the tweet she sent asking people to donate money to them, it was still on her social media timeline, unedited. The link on her website asking people to donate money to Minnesota Freedom in 2020. It remains active today as I sit here in this seat. But hey, the legend of Kamala Harris is bigger than our responsibility to the truth. And then, of course, there was the chaos of Wednesday, where the same journalists and papers of record, they were swift to cover Vice President Kamala Harris's condemnation of the anarchists and hooligans who tore up our nation's capital during Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit, all while they hurried to delete their own articles, referencing her sit-down interview with The Nation, where Kamala Harris said those same hooligans who tore up college campuses and scrawled anti-Semitic tropes on college dorms in the name of Hamas were simply, quote, showing what human emotion should be. The legend of Kamala Harris shall not yield to facts, no matter the cost. Now, in 2012, the gold standard for preserving facts that govern society, the Encyclopedia Britannica, they made a decision to end their tradition of printing editions and went completely digital. From 1768 until 2012, every year, practically unabated, they chronicled practically everything that had happened and everything that existed, committing it to paper, because facts matter. Today, 51% of all the news that we consume is done digitally. 73% of all correspondence in America is estimated to be digital. If our frame of reference to the world can be altered simply by hitting delete, and then the people we have entrusted to document the world have no fidelity to preserving what they wrote down, not only do we not have a country, we don't have a free society at all, period. And so yes, to my fellow Republicans, the Kamala Harris we all know and dislike, she is quite easy to beat. But the Kamala Harris they are rapidly deleting history to help create out of thin air, well, that is a completely different political threat. And that is why the 2024 election is so pivotal. Because the same people who changed the definition of what it meant to be a woman and thought nobody would notice, the same people who changed the definition of a vaccine and thought medical doctors shouldn't care, the same people who changed the definition of the phrase mostly peaceful protests to include billions of dollars worth of destruction of public property, well, they are not getting better at telling the truth. They are getting worse. They are getting more brazen. They are becoming more duplicitous. And if we do not stop them here and now, well, the legend of Kamala Harris, they are attempting to create by virtue of the delete button on their keyboard, well, it will be the very least of our problems.